Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Danelle here at Networkchain, and today we're going to talk about the state of the cryptocurrency market, the moves that it's made over the past week, and as usual, let's go ahead and start with the market update. As you can see, Bitcoin is currently trading at $97,713. It's up just a tad, almost 1% over the past week. Ethereum making a bit of a move, up 10% at $3,700. XRP has made the largest move out of the top 10. You can see it has now leapfrogged Solana and are now in the number 4 slot, trading at $2.18, up over 53% over the past week. Solana trading at $2.37. It's actually down 5% over the past week. Dogecoin, the top meme coin of them all, is up 5%, currently trading at around 44 cents. And then you have Cardano still going on its run, trading at above $1 at $1.13. And Shiba Inu, a newcomer to the top 10 over this past year, currently up over 24%, trading at a fraction of a penny, a micro fraction of a penny, but it is the second largest meme coin in the land currently. A lot of people made a ton of money in the last bull run with Shiba Inu, and it looks like Shiba Inu is continuing to make a comeback just like Dogecoin. So we'll be curious to see what happens with that coin as well as Doge as we move into 2025. So if we take a closer look, at Bitcoin, you can see that it is currently trading under 98,000. It still hasn't gotten back to that 99,000 range or to 100,000, which a lot of people are looking forward to. There's a possibility that we could see another dip back down here to around 90,000 or so. If we stay above this $95,000 range, there's a possibility that we could take the next leg up and get past $100,000. A lot of people need to understand and realize, especially when you come to a point of a psychological barrier, that 100,000 being such a big number. And obviously there will be more and more mainstream coverage if Bitcoin does actually pass over $100,000. There's a lot of firms, a lot of retail that have placed their limit orders at around 100,000. So there's going to be a huge sell wall, as they call it, of people who are trying to sell right at 100,000 or right at 99,999. So it's going to take a lot of push from the buyers to get it over that 100K mark. So obviously it remains to be seen. We believe we're going to see it sometime sooner than later. Could it happen before the end of 2025? Absolutely. Could it wait until 2025? Absolutely. So you can see here, Bitcoin had a great month. You can see that Bitcoin did over 37% for the month of November. This is the year of the halving. So 2024, we talk about the Bitcoin cycles. We have cycles every 4 years when the Bitcoin mining rewards are cut in half. The last time was in 2020, and you can see here we're still going along the trend when October was a positive month, November was a positive month, and then we went and ended the year with a positive month in December. So if we follow the trend, then Bitcoin will also have a great December as well. Will we get 50%? Who knows? 2020 was fantastic when you look at 40% and then 53% for December. So we had 37%, which is below that 43% mark from 2020 in October. So we shall see what December brings, but obviously we do see the demand that continues to come into the space and come into Bitcoin. So we shall see what December and what the end of the year is going to look like in the next several weeks. As I mentioned, it's not only hedge funds and other pension funds that are interested, it's nation states and cities in other nations that are interested. Recently, the Vancouver mayor in British Columbia, Canada, he has introduced a proposal to buy Bitcoin and have a Bitcoin strategic reserve for the city of Vancouver. He is interested, and his name is Ken Sim, and he has served as mayor of Vancouver since 2022, and he announced this plan on November 26th at a council meeting, and he submitted a notice of motion that he intended to introduce titled Preserving the City's Purchasing Power Through Diversification of Financial Resources, Becoming a Bitcoin-Friendly City. So we're starting to see that there are a number of jurisdictions around the world that are interested in becoming Bitcoin friendly. Obviously, we know of El Salvador, which is one of the first countries to actually make Bitcoin legal tender. We can see more cities like this that not only will accept fiat currencies, whether it be their local dollars, but also they could begin to accept Bitcoin as well. We did a story a couple weeks ago how the city of Detroit is also going to be accepting cryptocurrencies for payment of taxes and various fees within the city. So we wouldn't be surprised if we start to see more larger cities like Vancouver, which is one of the largest cities in the whole nation of Canada, and its mayor is obviously advocating for Bitcoin and becoming a Bitcoin friendly city. So we wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see more cities looking into doing something along these lines as well. So if we take a look, we've heard that Michael Saylor was going to do a presentation for Microsoft, which is obviously one of the largest companies in the entire world, over a $3 trillion market cap. He was given 3 minutes to do a presentation in front of in front of Microsoft's board of directors. So we're going to take a look. Hopefully you can hear the sound. And it's 3 minutes. Michael Saylor has been a Bitcoin evangelist, particularly since MicroStrategy started their strategy of accumulating Bitcoin and stacking sats. And he has talked about Bitcoin for years now and has been a major advocate. So he's really great at being able to communicate the message of why Bitcoin is important and why it could be beneficial for companies to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Microsoft can't afford to miss the next technology wave, and Bitcoin is that wave. Bitcoin represents the greatest digital transformation of the 21st century. It represents digital capital. The global wealth is distributed across assets that provide utility and others that preserve capital. But risk is destroying trillions of dollars of that capital every single year, and investors are turning to digital capital in the form of Bitcoin in order to avoid that risk. Digital capital is economically and technically superior to physical capital, and it represents a revolutionary advance in capital preservation. The asset class itself is growing from trillions to hundreds of trillions of dollars, and it is backed by digital power, along with political and economic power. It makes sense for Microsoft to be powered by digital capital. Bitcoin's the best asset you can own. The numbers speak for themselves. It makes a lot more sense to buy Bitcoin than to buy your own stock back, or to hold Bitcoin rather than holding bonds. If you're going to outperform, you're going to need Bitcoin. And those bonds are undermining your options market and your equity liquidity. Luckily, you have an alternative. Public support for Bitcoin is surging, as is political support, as is support for the U.S. Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, as is Wall Street support. And the President of the United States says,
never sell your Bitcoin.
That's why we're entering year one of the crypto renaissance. And you have a choice to make. Cling to the past or embrace the future. Divest billions of dollars and slow your growth rate. Invest billions of dollars and accelerate your growth rate. You've surrendered hundreds of billions of dollars of capital over the past 5 years, and you've just amplified the risks that your own shareholders face. If you want to escape that vicious cycle, you're going to need an asset without counterparty risk. What if you could buy a $100 billion company growing faster than Microsoft for 1 times revenue? What if you could keep doing it every single year? It's time for Microsoft to evaluate its Bitcoin strategic options. We've created an open source model. You can plug in your own assumptions. You can convert your cash flows and your dividends and your buybacks and your debt into Bitcoin. If you do that, you'll add hundreds of dollars to the stock price. You can create trillions of dollars of enterprise value. You can strip away risk from your shareholders, and you can prosper on the Bitcoin standard. So do the right thing for the world and adopt Bitcoin.
So that was his 3 minute. He was only given 3 minutes, a 3 minute presentation to the board of Microsoft. They have had a ongoing vote by its shareholders. There was a proposal on the table that the shareholders have been able to vote on. I believe we'll know the results of that vote December 10th, if I remember correctly. And it was regarding whether or not Microsoft should have Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So Michael Saylor was given the opportunity to make a presentation for 3 minutes, and that is what we just saw. So it'll be very interesting to see if Microsoft, excuse me, is actually going to consider putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Many people say they don't see that it's likely, but if they were to decide to put even just a small portion of their funds into Bitcoin, there is no doubt that other companies will be put on notice and that Bitcoin will surge. So we'll definitely keep our eye out on that over the next 10 days or so. And of course, as you see here, MicroStrategy now has 386,700 Bitcoin, and they continue to accumulate and front run what many believe is front running the United States of America, which has announced its intention to have a Bitcoin strategic reserve. There's a proposal on the table, as we have discussed before, not only in our videos, but also on IG and X. There's a proposal for the United States to accumulate upwards of 1 million Bitcoin to hold on its balance sheet. Obviously, time will tell. Lastly, we get the pulse of what's happening with the current cryptocurrency market as a whole. As you can see, the current market cap is over $3 trillion. And one way to get an understanding of the pulse of the market is to look at meme coins. Many believe meme coins will have a super cycle this go round in this what we call bull market that we're in right now currently with cryptocurrency and with Bitcoin in particular. And you can see that Dogecoin, as we've mentioned before, it's in the top 10 of all cryptocurrencies. It's ranked number 7 currently, with a $65 billion market cap. And you can see Shiba Inu is at $18.6 billion market cap. And we're looking here at the top 10, and we're seeing that a lot of green numbers. So you can see that a lot of these meme coins have been going up over the last day, over the past week. And so this also gives an idea of how much retail is starting to come back in to the cryptocurrency market. A lot of folks are interested in that lottery pick, basically, and meme coins are extremely risky. And we would say if you have any interest in getting into meme coins, make sure you do your due diligence, make sure you do your research, because you can definitely lose all of your money playing with meme coins, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you haven't learned about the cryptocurrency space and learned about what meme coins are popping off. So we highly suggest that you do your research, but it just gives us an idea of how much retail is coming into the space when we start to see more money moving from Bitcoin and going into what we call altcoins, like meme coins, as a sector of that altcoin group. And so we just had Thanksgiving here in the United States. So many of us who have potentially done well over the past year or two, or who have been holding Bitcoin for several years, may have been talking to their family members, to their friends during this time of Thanksgiving, and mentioned how much they've accumulated during this time and what they've done and the results currently. And so we generally start to see, as we showed you in the chart of the Bitcoin performance, that Bitcoin, particularly in a halving year, last was 2020, as we mentioned. We also had 2016, also a year where you had green months from October, November, and December. So once again, we see that during this holiday season, during these halving years, that Bitcoin performs very well. So a lot of that comes from, obviously institutional players, but also retail has been pushing Bitcoin and holding really Bitcoin up since its inception. So as usual, we appreciate you watching us here on YouTube. We're here every week Check us out on X as well as IG. We always appreciate any feedback that you have. We are still here. We'll stay here. We're looking forward to this last month of 2024 and looking forward to 2025. In the meantime, we look forward to linking up with you soon on the Networkchain. Take care. Bye-bye.